it's cold. The winter time, those cold water temps, fishing gets tough.
But the weather's been not good. Fishing's been not good. Here's the thing. Temperatures have been like freezing or below freezing here.
Where do bass live? And how do we find the target?
So what the heck do you do in order to consistently catch bass, or at least give yourself a better opportunity to catch those finicky bass?
So I really have no idea, like, should we be power fishing? Should we just be flipping as if there's a bunch of beds in here?
Okay, now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep it short and simple and make it easy on me. So you guys can see the public lake that I fished. The first half on the left looks shallow and seems like it has a lot of grass. And from the middle down to the dam, it looks a lot deeper. So this time of year, I think the bass is gonna be out deeper. So I'm gonna go and start from the middle of this pond and work my way out towards the dam. And I'm gonna just only take 2 lures and go out and see if I'll know how to present it correctly to be able to put myself in a position to find these fish and have a good day. I'm gonna use a Texas rig and an underspin. That's it. Now let's jump into the video and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna be able to figure out these fish this time of year. I'm gonna start off with my Texas rig, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast my Texas rig out there, let it sink to the bottom, and just slowly hop it or drag it back and feel out for what's under the water that I can't see, so that I can know and have an idea how under the water is laid out, like the grass line or hard bottom and things like that, and see if I can get a fish to bite in the process of doing that. After breaking down the first area where I started with my Texas rig, I didn't get nothing to bite, and there was still a lot of grass out there towards the middle, so I didn't even bother to cast out my underspin. I'm just using my Texas rig to be like a fish finder, because I don't know what's under the water. So to be able to use my Texas rig to fill out the bottom and kind of have an idea how it's laid out, so that way I'll know how to present my lures correctly and figure out the fish. Moving on to my next spot.
The underspin, how to use it and how to catch fish. The first thing to understand about the underspin is that, of course, it is a shad imitation type lure, so you can technically throw it in whatever water depth you want, but I found that an underspin, just with the way that it's built, usually they're a little bit heavier than a normal swim bait jig head. The blade adds to some of that weight. It's meant to be thrown in deeper water. So I'm not saying this is not for the pond, guys. You guys can throw it. I would recommend a lighter jig head selection for your underspin if you're going to want to fish this from the bank at all. It is just a very simple, kind of almost do nothing lure that you cast out there and you retrieve back in.
I'm just gonna cast out there, let it fall back to the bottom, slowly reel it back. I'm gonna do that all the way till the end of the cast. And then I'm gonna repeat that unless there's grass like how there is right now. And I'll reel it in and cast out to the left or right where I haven't cast the underspin yet. So there was still a lot of grass around this area. And then I'm just gonna throw my Texas rig out there and now just use my Texas rig to work this area slowly and break it apart and see if I can find a fish to bite, because I know if I get either of these lures in front of a fish, they'll bite. Okay, fishing these 2 areas, what do I know that is under the water that I can't see? So there's grass in and around these 2 areas, and it wasn't enough space in between the grass, or there wasn't an area that was good enough for me to cast my underspin out there and fish it effectively. As a bank angler, fishing open water any time of the year, I like to know what's in front of me under the water, so that way I'll know what to do to really find the fish, because I don't like to guess my ways and try to find a fish to bite tying every lure that I have in my tackle box. I'm still using my Texas rig because over here by the dam, there's a weed line in front of me. So I'm going to use my Texas rig to cover the grass line thoroughly all the way through, and then come back with my underspin. And I know by using my Texas rig, there's not that much grass out there towards the middle. time of year in the winter, the bite feels real light. It just feels like there's some grass at the end of your line, but you gotta know how to feel for the bite.
No, wait, I got one. Oh, I do have one. Hey. Oh.
After getting those 2 bites, I didn't hook up. So now I'm gonna follow up with my underspin. Since over here by the dam, I know that I can fish the underspin effectively. So I'm gonna just cast my underspin out there, let it sink to the bottom, slow roll it back, stop, let it fall back down, and just repeat that process all the way down till the end of the cast. So I'm just gonna do that along the dam all the way through, and we'll see if I could get anything to bite.
So you are not going to feel the bite, reel down, and absolutely give them the business. That's totally unnecessary, and especially if you're fishing it on lighter line, that is not going to work out well for you in getting a fish back in the boat. You're going to break off.
Oh gosh, yeah. Ate it when it was falling. I didn't feel the bite or nothing, guys. There we go. Yeah. It's a bass. Yeah. There you go, guys. Small one. Right. Again, I'm just using an underspin.
You got a good wrist there. Do you do fly fishing too?
No. It's my equipment. You got to know how to use your equipment to launch it out there. Yeah.
Dad tried to teach me. He died before he finally finished. Fly tying. And
Yeah.
yeah. I grew up with all that. He was a fisherman.
Oh, okay.
I like sea.
Thank you.
There you have it. This is how I'm going to approach a public body of water this time of year in the winter when it's cold. And I'm going to come out here and do what I plan to do and to know what I have to do to really figure out these fish. So just picking and choosing how I want to fish on any given day when I'm out on the water, especially open water, depending on what lures I want to use and what I want to do for that day, and just to know how to really put together a successful day and use the tools I have to really find a fish. I mean, that's how I learn, and hopefully you guys kind of understand how I really break down a body of water and figure it out. Till next time, thanks for watching.
Do it 4 ponds in 20 minutes.